The Pod Network Entertainment.
Actually, another way to sow tension, di ba, yung nung Raw ba yun or SmackDown, Solo and Tama Tonga were upset na third round pick lang sila ng SmackDown or something. And I think in the context of WWE, parang mas upsetting if you get traded to the other brand and you find out the cost to trade you away. Or kung ano yung pinagpalit, di ba? Parang, ito lang yung value ko, talaga ba? Like, is this how you see me?
What's going on? This is Xavier Woods, aka Austin Creed.
Let me talk to him.
Hello, WWE Universe in the Philippines. This is Charlotte.
Hey
everyone, this is Jeff Cobb.
I have to finish the story.
We are pretty deadly. Yes, boy. Yes, boy.
Run!
Bang! The sniper is shooting you down. This is TMDK's Robbie Eagles.
Hey, this is the Cosmic Cactus, Paul London.
Hello, my name is Ilya Dragunov. This is Czar, the NXT champion, and you're listening to...
And you're listening to...
And you're listening...
And you are listening...
And you're listening
to the Wrestling Podcast.
The Wrestling Podcast.
The Wrestling
Podcast. The Wrestling Podcast.
To the Wrestling Podcast. Yeah.
You are watching and listening to the longest-running weekly episodic Filipino wrestling podcast. This is the Wrestling Podcast. It's the OGs, Stan C and Romoran, checking in on another Thursday, and we hope that all of you are surviving this heat wave. Thankfully today, I'm not sure about you guys, pero dito sa amin, hindi as crazy yung heat for today only.
Na-feel ko rin. I just went out and it wasn't that bad today. So, nung late afternoon na. So, hopefully, it trends downward so that we can finally get some comfort around here.
Look at all of you cheering for the fact that it's the OGs here on the pod. May pinaparating ba kayo?
What are y'all trying to say? You said it, not me.
Sinabi lang namin na kaming dalawa nandito. Diba? Kami nakatoka. Sabi nyo, di ba? May pa-homework nga pala yung Zoom AI para sa mga hindi updated, no? So, wala si Emil. Homework daw niya na i-contact yung doctor ni MJF para makahingi ng health update. San ka pa?
My homework is to get the news on Matt Cardona. Boss Martin, baka may alam tayo dyan.
Ako, yung homework ko is just to share thoughts on the draft, which, I already do on the regular. With whatever we talk about on the podcast. So thanks Zoom AI for leaving me the easy pickings. Yeah, we have a lot to talk about for this week on the show, but we got to start things off by addressing something na kinagagalit ng collective Filipino wrestling community, and that is the fact that WWE Backlash will be airing live and only live on Disney Plus on 1 a.m. on Sunday. Now, don't get me wrong, I share yung frustration nating lahat na 1 a.m. itong WWE Premium Live event, but I have to work. So there's really nothing I can do. But for everyone else who has subscribed to Disney Plus, hoping na makapanood sila ng PLEs, whether live and on demand, I'm just really sorry that this all caught us by surprise, and that after WrestleMania, it seems na ganito yung magiging arrangement going forward with Disney Plus and PLEs. So that's really all I can say, kasi I know as much as everybody, which is virtually nothing.
Yeah, it's tough. I talk a lot of shit about Disney recently, pero even I know for a fact that that's not what they signed up for when they signed up to get WWE and air pay-per-views, diba? PLEs, diba? Nobody could have foreseen how, for example, Prime would be such a huge part of the company's branding moving forward after WrestleMania, diba? I know, again, I will say this here, yung mga third-party streaming platforms around the world outside the US and Canada, WWE does not give them the right, or the brands that work with WWE, they don't pay for the extra media exposure, the media coverage that they get around the world. Diba? It's not like NBA now. Okay, you can watch a US commercial and see the US brands on NBA TV, League Pass, diba? Whatever have you, right? So, malas lang talaga. It's not in the cards. And at least yung konting consuelo is that Disney Plus here has finally said, okay, live lang to only, so don't get your hopes up. You might as well sail the high seas to get a copy to watch on demand. If you don't get to catch it at 1 a.m. this Sunday, wala, sorry. Sorry ka, diba? But there is a way if you really want to watch the show, but we're not going to show it live because I want to sleep. We're doing a Discord watch party for Backlash France on Sunday morning, 9 a.m. after na. That's when everyone is, not struggling to stay up. And,
Nasa wisyo ng lahat.
yeah, I don't want to sleep at 4 a.m. It's just not sustainable at this point. It's just not tenable at this point. I want to get my sleep here. So go subscribe. There's a Patreon link down below. Patreon.com/wrestling podcast. 250 pesos lang. You can unsubscribe after we're done if you don't feel like staying. If you really, really want to catch it on demand. If you really don't want to wake up or stay up from 1 to 4 a.m., this is the way. So either way, I can also, give you a link afterwards. So we'll find a way to watch the show, whether it's together or at your own pace. So yun lang. Patreon.com/wrestling podcast.
Now, if you want to watch the weekly WWE shows live, it's time for some happy row noises, and we really gotta push Blast TV because we already know that Disney Plus can't give us what we want.
Blast TV! All right. Ito, Raw, SmackDown, NXT, right here. I got all caught up earlier before we went on air on NXT. Dahil sa Blast TV, I don't have to scramble. I don't have to look for wherever I want to watch or wherever I could watch the main roster TV shows. It's all here. They've been very diligent about uploading the shows the day of, after they broadcast in the morning Manila time. Lance is right. Blast TV can do what Disney can. That's just the painful truth, y'all. Go sign up at www.blasttv.ph or on. You can download it at app.blasttv.ph. Converge, Globe at Home subscribers, libre ito. For everyone else, it's only 179 pesos, guys. I should be the face of Blast TV. I'm doing the most here. I don't know if anyone else is pushing WWE at this point. Some people know, pero you guys know what we're missing here. What other people who are not tuning into the podcast are missing here. You guys are watching on Blast TV, so you guys are up to date on the latest main roster episodes. Blast TV.
Mamaya sa kakapanood nyo ng Blast TV, kabisado nyo rin yung mga commercials and mga merch plugs na binoboses ni Ovation Productions VO guy /owner.
Or you can be me and skip all of that by watching on demand.
Oy, to be fair sa Blast TV, inaagahan na nila yung upload ng
episodes.
Oh,
yeah.
Like,
kakasabi ko
Raw and NXT, diba? They're uploaded by as early as 4 p.m.
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah.
Dati, after dinner pa eh. Ngayon, 4 p.m. San ka pa, diba? So,
ako, pag-uwi ko na. Pag pauwi na ako, nakikita ko na siya sa Blast TV app. So, I get to watch it while in traffic. So, go check that out.
All right. Let's get to talking about the WWE Draft and the fallout coming out of that. So, di ba, nung nag-record tayo ng weekend reaction, sabi natin, hindi pa kompleto kasi nga, hindi pa nangyayari yung Raw nun. But now that we've seen Monday Night Raw, I guess we have some takeaways. And one of the biggest, itong kinagigil ni Rowan over the weekend, and that is that many of the top superstars did not change brands. And meron nga bali-balita from backstage. The reports say na masaya na rin naman kasi si WWE, particularly creative with how the current roster is on which brand, diba? So, what can you take away from that, Ro?
Yeah, to me, okay, gets ko naman kung bakit kayo masaya na. I mean, like, you have the perfect rosters. Maybe you don't see the need to change things up. Kung ganun din lang, why do we have the draft then? Why do we promise, as Rowan said, bakit kayo nangangako na Raw and SmackDown will be shooken up, diba? So it's pointless. Like, everyone sees right through it. Even who complained? Somebody complained. Undertaker complained about the whole thing. So wow. Align sila ni Rowan, diba?
Who would have thought? So, what an alliance!
So it became like a pointless charade of a draft just because what is it? It's the NFL. It was the NFL draft last weekend, diba? Or a couple of weeks ago, and they just wanted to capitalize and the post WrestleMania frenzy. But what I did like was the NXT call-ups because they presented the NXT call-ups as like kids straight out of college, diba? Getting drafted into the major sports league for once. Tapos, pinakita nila outside of their wrestling, outside of their on-screen characters on NXT. They showed the NXT rookies being genuinely happy as aspiring WWE wrestlers. And that was beautiful. Pati yung coaches in interview, and they got their thoughts on how their quote-unquote kids got called up and now or get to live their dream, diba? Assuming they get assuming they get minutes on Raw and SmackDown, right? So like I said on the Weekend Reacts episode, if you haven't tuned in yet, sana ganun na lang. Sana NXT draft na lang. Like actual major sports leagues drafts, right? I don't need the promise of Raw and SmackDown guys moving again, engineer trades, engineer free agent signing. Have a fucking free agent signing period, diba? Like the postseason, the off season, diba? And wala, kasi ang labo eh. So you everyone just shattered the need for a draft. So at this point, I guess a lot of other people want the WWE to overhaul the idea of this draft because the NXT guys were a lot more compelling to watch. Just, I don't know. I think a lot of people agree.
You know what's something I miss from the draft nung Ruthless Aggression era? It's when tag teams would get split up. And I know na in the past, in recent history, ginagawa pa rin siya ni WWE, but it never really worked out as well as everyone would have liked. But there was some legitimate shock value back in the day when Bubba Ray and Devon went to separate brands, or when Booker T and Rob Van Dam were World Tag Team Champions and Booker T got sent to SmackDown. Or was it Rob Van Dam who got sent to SmackDown? One of them. Diba?
Rob Van Dam.
Yeah, Rob Van Dam in 2004. So, I don't know. I get it na you want to keep these tag teams together kasi you've already established them and built them up. Kaya Diamond Mine got drafted as a group. DIY got drafted as a group. But I would have wanted one or two tag teams to get split up by the draft just to see how things would shake out. Like, if you want the shock value, I think that's another way to do it.
Di mo naman kailangan ng draft para dun eh, diba? You can just have, let's say, Adam Pearce and Nick Aldis. Nag-uusap sila. O may assistant sila. May assistant GM sila. They work out a few trades. Like, let's break up New Day. That's, for example. Nick Aldis wants the former WWE champion Kofi Kingston back on SmackDown. So, that's how, I don't know, tatanong ko si Adam Pearce. Who do you want for this guy? Who do you want for Kofi? Then do that. Or let's have people actually announce that, okay, I'm entering free agency in WWE, not outside WWE. Can we just please do it like real sports? Because this is, for a lot of us, this is how these things work. This is how our brain is wired to expect management of teams and rosters.
Actually, another way to sow tension, di ba, yung nung Raw ba yun or SmackDown, Solo and Tama Tonga were upset na third round pick lang sila ng SmackDown or something. And I think in the context of WWE, parang mas upsetting if you get traded to the other brand and you find out the cost to trade you away. Or kung ano yung pinagpalit, di ba? Parang, ito lang yung value ko, talaga ba? Like, is this how you see me? Like, if I were a heel superstar, it would encourage me to act even more violent or to be a more chaotic agent, di ba? A more chaotic presence backstage. So, I think that would be another way to change things up in this hypothetical free agency instead of the draft.
Doc G has a question. Do you think it's better that they do a surprise pick, or should it be like how it was in the late 2000s? I mean, match representing both brands or all of brands, and then whoever wins the match gets to pick for their brand. No, I don't want this anymore. Okay, now that you establish it, like, people want to stay in their brands, like, diba? I would much rather see the tension, the drama of trades and free agent signings, and inner front office workings, right, of the management. I think mas compelling in for everyone involved.
What do you think about Baron Corbin, who had to be drafted from NXT, diba? Whereas a lot of these superstars would be able to come down to NXT whenever they wanted, like Ivar, Natalia, and the OC.
The Final Testament, yeah.
Oh,
It's weird. I don't understand how that works. I guess naman, syempre, people are allowed to move back and forth between NXT and the main roster. That's how NXT gets its ratings, diba? Pero bakit kailangang i-draft si Baron Corbin from NXT to SmackDown, I think it was?
yeah, SmackDown.
So that's strange. It doesn't follow the logic that they set for themselves, which is it's strange. I think this is a rare misstep from what is normally a tight creative ship under Triple H.
One last thing here about the draft with regard to the main roster. Braun Strowman is back and he got drafted to Raw. And with the news of Eric Rowan reportedly having re-signed with WWE, or having signed a new contract to return to WWE rather, this could be the beginning of the Wyatt Six na being rumored to be put together, especially with all of the Uncle Howdy teasers that were peppered in throughout this episode of Monday Night Raw. Sobrang dami actually this week.
Yeah, but I don't really care for it. I don't really care for anything. Sorry, I don't care for the post Fiend landscape ng creative legacy ni Bray Wyatt. It's just not my thing.
Mm-hmm. All right. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll talk about the NXT call-ups and other news from WWE from this past week. But first, we got to hear from our other podcasts right here on the Pod Network.
Magandang araw para sa mga mas nakakalurky na storya,
mas masayang kwentuhan,
mas nakakautot sa kaligayahan na chismisan,
mga kaabang-abang na storya.
Aba, tutok na lagi sa Tambalan Podcast.
Let's get to the NXT call-ups. You can see them on your screen right now. Yung big moves are Ilya Dragunov to Raw, Kiana James, Lyra Valkyria, Dijak all go to Monday Night Raw. Blair Davenport goes to SmackDown. So does Carmelo Hayes.
Yeah, and you can see how they were so happy, right? It's really nice. Parang nawala bigla yung mga rivalry. Like that was interesting.
Si Fallon Henley, tuwan-tuwa para kay Kiana James.
Oh, diba? So that was an interesting way to present the NXT people. That was pretty cool. Dijak being drafted from NXT like Corbin is also kind of weird. Last we checked, that guy was on the main roster.
Yeah.
So isa pa yun sa ano.
No, we're trying to forget T-Bar.
No, I
Retribution.
Mean, okay, sure. I guess.
But Pepperidge Farm remembers.
I like this a lot. Not entirely sure about Kiana James. I feel like there are others also more deserving. But if the coaches feel that she's ready, then who am I to argue? They obviously see what most of us here on the other side of the screen don't see. So I like this batch. Dijak has not yet re-signed according to Fightful Select. But I'm sure that could change, especially hindi na siya T-Bar, diba? Yun, Doc G with a scoop. Just kidding. Dragunov is obviously the biggest signing here, and we still don't know if he's gonna replace Giovanni Vinci sa Imperium, but I really, really hope not, because that guy is meant to be a leader and not a follower.
Mm-hmm. Let's go to Drew McIntyre this time. And ito, one of the big talk points surrounding Drew McIntyre over the last half year is his contract status. And now we get the word from Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson himself that Drew McIntyre has re-signed with WWE. And according to the reports, it's a multi-year contract. Meron din mga nagsabi na worth 4M daw per year. In which case, go get that bag, Drew.
DJ. Why did he have to be the one to break the news, right? I mean, like, what's happening?
Malay mo, gusto niyang unahan si SRS.
I mean, like, I have a feeling that Drew's injury might have been the thing that finally pushed him to sign. Not sure, but it's the timing is kind of suspect, right? he got injured, and then he's not going to be able to work for a while. And then he signs a new deal, which I think he was heading towards. So they gave him what he wanted. Triple H recognized the value that he brought. Triple H did bring him back from the Indies and TNA back in 2017. So deserved the money he drew. I think he's also deserved it with the current heel run of his life. That's pretty good.
The truth teller, the shit poster that Drew McIntyre has become, has provided so much value to WWE, which leads us to this angle that Drew has been doing with CM Punk for several months now at this point, pero pareho silang injured. CM Punk's triceps still not 100%. Drew McIntyre reportedly with an elbow injury as well. So, kayo, listeners and viewers of the podcast or live stream, do you guys want to see this feud go on when it's essentially just a war of words because neither man can get physical at the moment?
I hope that they shoot some shit like non-contact, non-wrestling stuff. Like marami namang
home invasion?
I don't know. There's a lot of creative stuff you can do without having to resort to bumping and actual action. Diba? Speaking from experience, the whole Twitter war thing gets old after a while, especially if it doesn't build up to anything soon. So, feeling ko naman, Punk naman is being brought in to help boost attendance, help boost ratings, despite being injured. Diba? So, I think there's always something to be done. Yung ginawa nila on Raw, diba?
Yeah. That was fun.
They had a whole Roadrunner Wile E. Coyote Goose Chase. So
and it went for 2 segments.
Yeah. So there are things to be done despite not being cleared to wrestle.
Maganda yung point mo kanina lang, Ro, about how CM Punk is being brought in to increase attendance, to get more viewers. Kasi nga, people want to see CM Punk. And I don't know about you guys, but maybe CM Punk is at a point in his career where you kind of don't need him to wrestle na rin. Like, I just wanted to go out there, cut a promo, piss someone off, and then get the ratings.
No, people still want him to wrestle, even though he's not like the actual best in the world at wrestling. People still want to see that because he's still pretty good. He still brings a certain kind of old school gravitas to his matches, right? I think he's one of the last vestiges of old school style that they have in WWE. So okay lang din naman. But yes, you're right in that there is a lot of value in him talking. Like I felt like yung promo niya nung Raw was the best thing I heard all night. And that stuff is valuable as well. But syempre, you can't always do that, especially when he gets cleared to wrestle. So I'm sure that's going to be a thing. He's going to get cleared before Drew is. So he's probably going to take a detour from the Drew feud or find a way to work it while wrestling other people.
But let's say CM Punk finally decides to hang it up. He's about to be 50 in a few years. I can totally see him being a manager in WWE. It's just a matter of who they pair with him.
Yeah, kung gusto niya, diba? If he really wants to be the new Paul Heyman, after being a Paul Heyman guy, he can do that. He can do whatever he wants. He brings in the money.
Yeah, the money, the eyes, all of that good stuff. All right, let's go to Backlash predictions. Yan ang PLE natin. Pinag-usapan natin kanina at the top of our live stream. It is happening 1 a.m. Manila time on Sunday. So walang tulugan. Master Showman para sa amin ni Carlo Pamintuan, at least on Tagalog commentary. For the rest of you, if you want to watch it on Disney Plus, by all means, go do that. If you want to watch it with us on Patreon, by all means, go do that as well. As of recording, 5 matches pa lang yung announced, but given the Triple H era and the run of PLEs over the last few months, I think it's safe to say that we're settling with 5 here, kind of like the NXT TakeOver days of old. What do you think of that?
Feeling ko may idadagdag pa sila on SmackDown, but I also don't know what else they would add. But I'm sure they will round that out to 6 because I don't think 5 is enough. I don't know.
I mean, they made it work no Elimination Chamber. They made it work no
but
Backlash.
There were 2 Elimination Chambers kasi. So that's really those 2 chambers ran an hour long each, diba?
I don't know. if you could add one more match, what would it be, diba? Kasi ako, ang naisip ko yung Intercontinental Championship match nila Sammy and Gable and probably Bronson Reed.
Hell yeah. Oo nga. Gusto lang
But
that.
that's not on the card as of recording, so we have no idea. All right, let's get to the matches we do know will be on the card. Let's start with this tag team match between KO and Randy Orton taking on Solo Sikoa and the MFT Tamatonga.
I mean, what good is the Tamatonga signing if he loses? Diba? If he loses to his first WWE match, right? So malamang the Bloodline 2.0.
What do you think about Tama being made to look like really brutal, diba? Like every interaction he's got has a level of physicality na may dugo, na talagang iika-iganing kalaban niya after the fact.
Siyempre. A lot of people don't know who this guy is. Hindi siya kilala ni Ninang Abby, diba? Until now. So you gotta present him as a threat. He also wasn't taken that seriously in New Japan. Like he wasn't exactly top tier main event talent. So it's nice to see him be a real legit threat here.
All right, moving on. We've got another tag team match, this time for the Women's Tag Team Championships. It's Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill taking on the Kabuki Warriors.
Ito pa. I'm sorry, Kabuki Warriors, but you're not beating Jade Cargill at this early, unfortunately.
Yeah, this will probably be the start of another winning streak, kind of like her 60-0 streak sa kabila. Yeah.
That's easy.
Interesting that we're getting this at Backlash kasi diba we kind of said na, oh, maybe we'll get this ng WrestleMania. Instead, we had Naomi in the mix, we got Dakota Kai in the mix, and now it's really just the straight-up tag team match, finally, at Backlash in France. Next up, Women's Championship, or the WWE Women's Championship. Bayley defends against Naomi and the up-and-comer Tiffany Stratton.
Bayley retains by pinning Naomi. I know they're friends right now. Yeah, kasi, or I don't know, pwede naman Tiffany, but I think people want to protect Tiffy over there. That's why this was a triple threat.
Mac, what's up with that comment, man?
Bro, come on, man.
Why?
Medyo delix yan.
Oh.
Let's not stereotype. Let's not stereotype the two black women.
Oh. All right, next, you've got the World Heavyweight Championship. Damian Priest defends against Jey Uso.
I kind of want to predict a Jey win here. Kasi the rest of the Judgment Day have been specifically JD and I guess Finn. They've been fucking with Damian for a while now. Over the past few weeks. So I think they could, catalyze yung eviction ni Damian from Judgment Day by costing him the match. And I think it's also not a bad time for Jey championship reign. I think we were at the point where the Damian win, tawag doon, they kind of had to get it out of the way kasi Money in the Bank holder siya. Diba? So, okay, now that you got it out of the way and now that you established that, okay, we can run with Damian Priest as a world champion level wrestler on Raw. We can pull the plug right now and then we can return to it later, especially when you have a super over single star in main event Jey Uso.
But then if Jey wins, you will have had 4 different people holding the World Heavyweight Championship in the span of a month.
Ano naman? It made sense naman eh, diba? The Drew thing made sense. The Drew win made sense. The cash in was a cash in, and it was CM Punk, diba? And then if this happens, it also makes sense because the Judgment Day is imploding, or it's imploding on Damian Priest. Hindi naman siya. It's not like yung mga nangyari before under Vince. Okay, you're just gonna do it because you're for the sake of doing it. I feel like Triple H has been building up to these particular stories. You know how in The Sims you line up a bunch of actions para dire-diretso yung ano niya, yung galaw niya. It's kind of like that. I feel like if this pushes through. It's kind of like that. They're lining up a bunch of championship reigns for people who do deserve it, diba?
It would be the sight to see if Jey Uso actually gets his moment at Backlash.
Oo.
I mean, yung next question ko kasi is if hindi naging champion si Jey dito, what's next for him? Jimmy's
Exactly.
out, diba? He's got an undisclosed injury. What does Jey Uso do from here?
Exactly, which is why not? Why the hell not? Gunther, I guess, King of the Ring, but what else? King of the Ring, I guess. That's what he does. But other than that, there's not much else for him to do. Kasi hindi siya lumipat ng brand.
And I mean, I get it. I love the King of the Ring as a concept, but the King of the Ring winner hasn't really challenged for the World Championship. I mean, I don't recall if X got to do it after he won.
X didn't get to do it, but I think X won nung nandun pa si Vince, diba?
Yeah. 2021.
Yeah. So it's the first King of the Ring under Triple H. So I feel like because he was there when King of the Ring was a lot better, and he's bringing back a lot of the things that were better 20 years ago. So feeling ko may real stakes na ang pagiging King of the Ring.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but we'll get into that in
Ninong Derv also has a good point. Jay is the number one pick of Raw.
Mm-hmm.
So they view him highly. So it wouldn't be out of the question for him to get the win.
Mm-hmm.
To
Interesting.
be a champ. It's like one last point. It's like
yeah.
If Judgment Day costs Damian the championship, it's gonna be like Eddie Guerrero versus Brock Lesnar from 2004. Bakit pa nanalo si Eddie? Kasi tinulungan siya ni Goldberg, diba?
Yeah. All right.
We didn't expect that win.
Mm-hmm. Hey, this could be a moment like that, but 20 years later, just under very different circumstances, but same vibes.
Yeah.
The presumptive main event, Cody Rhodes defending the undisputed WWE Championship against the phenomenal AJ Styles.
Siyempre, Cody. I mean, like, what are we doing here? It's funny, though. I want to point out that AJ has kind of pivoted back to being a face, I feel like. Parang yung sinabi niya sa contract signing on SmackDown last Friday, like he said that he parang naghugas kami siya of all the shitty things that he did to LA Knight over the past few months.
I did hear
that. That was interesting. So are you turning back face because we're going to have a face versus face matchup here? What's happening? But I think people are okay with AJ being a heel right now. There's nothing wrong with that. So it's interesting that he said that particularly.
No, see, babyface producer Jasper asked us backstage if we're getting AJ's old theme back. I mean, as much as I would love to, I don't think that's happening anytime soon, brother.
Ano pala, speaking of, there is news that the WWE has heard people on Twitter criticizing and making memes about Def Rebel. So, since Triple H likes to give us what we want, you never know. Although I will say, I don't. Yeah, sorry, go ahead. No, you go first.
Yeah, may bali-balita rin na si Douglas Davis, yung anak ni Clive Davis, is no longer part of Def Rebel.
Hasn't been a part of Def Rebel in a while.
Yeah.
So we're sorry to blame Douglas Davis last week.
Medyo maraming ganap sa buhay ni Douglas Davis ngayon. Medyo kinancel din siya ng Twitter eh.
I will say though that I don't hate the new AJ theme. Obviously the last one, the one by CFOS, yung Pretend DMX theme was really much better. But I don't hate this one. It's not that bad. People just don't like it because it replaced the one we love.
Hindi, tsaka ginagago ng mga tao yung theme kasi merong soundbite na recorded voice si AJ, diba? They don't want none. Parang yung kay Lexis King, yung My Way, My Life. And I think that's become the formula. Like the superstar records a soundbite and then the song, kind of like Ken Warren's old theme, diba? He goes hashtag that and then the music plays.
What if Edge debuted his "You Think You Know Me" soundbite in this era? So people would still be clowning it. But no, it's iconic now.
Or The Rock.
Diba? That those tropes would, be fully under the Def Rebel style. Yung Oro Plata Mata may drop din.
Then again, yun naman kasi yung peg, diba? Yung, you think you know me, or if you smell what The Rock is cooking, diba? So it's a
Yeah.
chicken and egg thing at this point, guys.
Yeah, oo nga. Like, if Road Dogg debuted Oh You Didn't Know, or Val Venus debuted Hello Ladies under the Def Rebel era, you'd still be clowning it as well. Because that's the kind of fans you guys are.
Or si Trish Stratus yung the girl laugh, diba, at the start of her theme. Yeah. Those are our Backlash predictions. Of course, you can catch Backlash on Disney Plus Sunday Manila time, 1 a.m. Yeah, mahirap talaga kasi nasa France ang PLE na to. But if you want to catch it at an earlier time or at a time more convenient to you rather, then, well, para-paraan na lang. Kasi Pinoy tayo and we don't really have much of a choice. All right? Now, that brings us to the end of this half of the live stream. On the other side, you've got the AEW talk. That should be up on your feeds right now. But for this particular episode, we got to sign out. So on behalf of Ro Moran, Emil Nate, Chino Liao, and Rowan ASH, my name is Stan C, saying stay safe, stay healthy and hydrated, and don't be a dick. Wrestling Podcast out. Bye-bye.
Peace.
The opinions of podcast creators, hosts, and guests are not necessarily reflective of the official stance of the Pod Network Entertainment, its hosts, or other network programs. The content created by the people behind the podcast is personal and not meant to harm any religion, ethnicity, group, organization, company, or